In 5, 4.
Disclaimer. To the Pharisees and Karens out there,
How dare you!
all guests on this show do not reflect the opinions of the host. The purpose of this show is to have interesting conversations, stretch our minds, and grow.
Not what we want!
If you are looking for an echo chamber, viewer and listener discretion
is advised.
You talk about extreme.
If knowledge is a crime, we were guilty from the start. They don't fear the question. They don't hide it, they just move it. Shift the language, repackage, prove it. You were never meant to trace the line, but now you see it every time. Same story, new name, different mask, same game. Now you feel it in your bones. Every signal, every tone. This isn't chaos on the screen. It's a system running deep. You don't need them to explain. You can see it's the same story, new name. It's not random. You're just finally seeing it.
Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back. Another week, another crazy week of headlines. Well, we missed last week where I was on my little business vacay trip out west, but we are back in the saddle again. Here we try to look through the headlines. Actually, we look at the headlines beneath the headlines, the story beneath the story, doing some pattern recognition and some conspiratorial talk, all the cool things we like to do because we know they like to hide in plain sight. But man, I'd like to welcome my other co-host, man, Andrew 6G. What's happening, my brother?
What's up, boss? How you doing today?
Nice, hanging out, living the dream, brother. How about you?
I'm good, man. Just got done working. It's been a wild week. How was Vegas for you?
It was a good time, man. We got a lot of car time in, but we seen a lot of stuff. So got to go to Vegas, and she had never been that far west. So we took her to see the Grand Canyon. We drove over Hoover Dam, that kind of stuff. Went out to alien disclosure talk. It was happening in Vegas at the same time, so we went to that. So we got to meet Luis Elizondo, Timothy Alberino. Went to California, hiked Joshua Tree, hiked Kings Canyon, seen all the redwood sequoias and stuff. Went to observatory, got to see the Tesla coil light up, dude.
Shit.
I mean, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that you hit all those spots. I knew you were going to Vegas, but yeah, Hoover Dam to California Joshua Tree. That's a wide array of places to go. That's awesome, dude. Good for you. I've been wanting to go out west. I was in California for a while, but I've been wanting to get out west and see the sights here soon as well. So that's pretty cool, man. Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Steven?
Yeah, shout out Steven's in the chat.
Shout out chat.
And you've put together something pretty cool that you've been kind enough to let me join in on some bro time, because my other bro, Steven, he didn't tell me about it, so he didn't want me to come. So thank you for inviting me to the cool kid party.
Oh, I should have threw you in the group chat. I made a group chat last night, and I should have threw you in there. It was my fault. I blame myself. Yeah,
I blame Steven.
Yeah, well, we could blame him because he's not here. It's easier. Yeah, dude. Yeah, UFC fight. We're going to be doing a watch party, but not much of a watch party. It'll be illegal if we actually put it on the screens. But, yeah, we'll be kind of having the fights on the background. But it's going to be more of a UFO disclosure-based episode, and it's going to be a long one. It's going to be, I mean, we'll be watching the fights, kind of commenting on that as we go as well. Hey, maybe we'll get lucky. Not lucky, but maybe some wild shit will happen, and there will be some kind of plasma being or some crazy stuff going down. So come join us Sunday night for that.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So this is a public service announcement. I will put this on the Prometheus Lens community channel. That way all them guys know. I usually do Sunday nights at 8, Louis Ginsburg, Legends of the Jews study. So I will probably just do that at like 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll do it a couple hours early. That way when 8 o'clock rolls around, we'll be dedicated to the White House or Fight House.
Fight House.
Fight House.
That's right. UFO at the UFC, baby. Let's find out if it happens. So, yeah, man, it's been a wild couple weeks, dude. You picked a crazy week to take off. You know that? We gotta fit like 2 weeks into one. We got to fit 2 weeks into one episode. It's been a wild 2 weeks.
So, with some of the stuff that's going on, I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up and at least ask you about it. The Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day. Did you catch that film?
Oh, no, I didn't yet. And, everybody's talking about how it's cursed. Did you see that people were saying that it might be cursed and that watching it, it's like a hyper sigil. If you watch it, something's going to happen to you. I just think that, it's just a propaganda film. I mean, what do you think? You watched it.
I thought, as far as like movie, it was a decent movie. I enjoyed it, but to me, there was really like nothing burger. It was like just a whole nothing burger once again. But I did a live yesterday. I went and watched, I think the first showing in my hometown was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So went and watched it and then came back and then done a live show and just kind of talked about it. And I had my phone out and I took some pictures just of some like, scenes that I thought was worth mentioning or talking about or having a visual. So I brought up pictures from my phone and talked about some things. But it drops you in, dude, fast and furious. For the first 15 minutes or so, I was just confused. I was like, what the hell is going on? It starts off and they're like in this wrestling ring and these guys are fighting and you're seeing it from the first person point of view. And dudes, throwing him off the ropes, hitting him with chairs, and you're at this wrestling event, and then turns out there's a guy in the audience that's got some stolen government information in a backpack, and some other group had kidnapped his girlfriend, and so they're trading out the hostage for the information kind of thing at the wrestling deal. So it took a while for me to kind of figure out what was going on, but it just confirms, dude, everything we've been talking about. There's big tech companies that are working outside of the constitutional laws, reverse engineering technology, and all the encounters are real. They've been contacting us, and just basically that they were the men in black. They hid everything, reverse engineered. They didn't have to work within the scope of the law because they were not a government entity. But the weird thing was that they installed basically superpowers into two people that they abducted as children. One, they gave the power of mathematics and the alien language, and then the other one they blessed with the power of empathy. She can empathize with anyone. She can look in your eyes and read your mind. She can actually even later, when she evolves, she can cloak herself to any person she wants, like Mystique, so she can fool people and trick people, like show up as their dead loved ones. But yeah, at the end of the movie, they show all the clips and show us beating them and interrogating them, cutting them open, and being mean to them. So she's using her power on the public, on television, to make us have empathy for the aliens. But it ends at like a weird cliffhanger. She just looks at them and is like, the little alien comes out and whispers something to her, and she goes to the camera and she's like, okay, now listen up. And then
dude,
dies. I'm like, what the hell?
Dude, it's so funny you just said that. So I was listening to, man, dude, that's so crazy, because what I've been seeing is that this new Alien movie is not really based on the extraterrestrial aspect as much as it is the actual powers or these latent abilities that these people, obviously, that it went into, which is more tied to what I think it's all about, which is so funny because they're actually telling people more of the truth there, it seems. And if you can read somebody's mind, that means you can also control their mind and manipulate their mind. You know what I'm saying? You can
There's some
implant
MK
thoughts.
Ultra stuff in there.
So if she's going, okay, everybody, let's empathize. And then they go, all right, now let's get their ass. And she goes, all right, now she could speak into their mind and make all the masses listen. And so that's kind of what that is there. And that's the plan, by the way, is to, the super race, right? Whenever they merge with the hierarchy. And that's the whole plan. So it's so funny that they're really telling us. So obvious.
Yeah, see, I didn't make that connection because I had the aha moment after. It was funny because I was like, okay, she's got empathy. And I was like, man, it's crazy. They're showing all this disclosure stuff, and it's showing the people watching it, and they're crying. And then one of the news anchors that was covering it, she starts crying. And I even caught myself. I'm like, oh, man, this is sad. I'm like, no. You know what's going on.
Well, if you think about it, Stephen Greer, all he's been, people like him have been pushing that, they just want us to ascend. They want us to be a better race. They want us to move forward. So it is kind of pushing that idea that we need to empathize and go with this whatever this is, this force.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. Psyop City today, man. Every day it's Psyop City.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if you're checking us out, man, and you haven't done so already, man, just like the logo I got up there, don't be a jackass. Hit that like button. If you're here, you're watching, it means you're enjoying it, you're entertained. I've had your attention for more than 10 seconds. I deserve a like button. Give us a like.
Yeah, and if this is already out and you're listening, hype that video, because the live shows you can hype, and that really helps us out in the algorithm as well. So please give us a hype and a like. Appreciate that. So did you see Jared Kushner, man? He's fortifying an island that has some World War II bunkers filled with ammunition from the Cold War. So he's pretty much going and making like a Epstein Island 2.0 on Albania that's fortified with bunkers and everything already.
No,
so people
I
are
did
freaking
not.
out, dude. Yeah,
I seen the
pissed.
links and stuff you'd sent me. Oh, yeah. And sorry, Morpheus. He said, you got to give a spoiler alert. I'm sorry. It said Disclosure Day on the thumbnail. I thought everybody knew we were going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even seen it, dude. You spoiled it for me. But you aren't telling me anything I don't already. I mean, listen, I'm
saving y'all $7 or $8. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a Laurel Canyon Zionist director coming out and spitting out a propaganda piece about alien. I mean, come on, it's exactly what you expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, we'll get in this here. Let's see some of the stuff you sent me. And guys, just so you know, Andrew is the brains behind this operation. This dude, he's making notes and getting all this stuff together, man. So I'm so very appreciative for Andrew and what he does. This is his show. I'm just producing it, y'all. I'm producing it and being a talking head.
Yeah, it's perfect. No, it's a good duo. I'm all right. I'm just doing what I do anyway, but get to enjoy it with somebody as a side show. I love it, dude, because I'm getting deep on my deep dives and I've got time for interviews. It's great, man. So this is perfect for me.
Nice. So this is the video, or the first link you had sent me. We're going to
Yeah.
watch this.
It's showing just so you can see, this is
With
Sazin
Mark.
Island.
With
And
Mark.
it's an abandoned military island. This is what I was talking about with the Cold War and World War II bunkers. This is used twice. And he was, just real quick for a background, he was with his buddy Nat Rothschild on a yacht with him and his wife. And by the way, Nat Rothschild supports the Venezuela operation and the Iran war. And so he's with him and they go to this island. And Nat Rothschild's like, you should buy that and, turn it into this resort island, whatever. And they're talking about this in an interview, saying that this is the discussion that was had. And so here we go. This is it.
This is crazy. Let's see.
A bunch of points after combing Google Earth. Now it was just a matter of getting there. We start with seeing signs for mines everywhere. Not looking good. Everywhere there is broken stuff,
This dude's
bunkers and holes. Bad
Not
for
looking
someone
good.
claustrophobic. Paradise for urbexers.
Oh, I got a soundbite for that.
It's already 40 degrees, super hot. And
I thought
it's
that was
only
your
11 in
soundbite.
the morning.
No trial, no
Let's get started.
No trial, no nothing. Yeah, I thought that was your dude. I thought when he started talking, that was you.
Look at the contrast between the flowers and the tunnel where we're gonna enter.
So they're going to fortify all this, but they already have kind of some of the foundations to kind of start building up and, revamp.
Sazan Island, located at the entrance to the Bay of Vlor in Albania, is known for its numerous bunkers built during the communist era under the leadership of Enver Hoxha. Hoxha's fear of a potential Western invasion led to the construction of over 170,000 bunkers across Albania, many of which
170,000.
are on Sazan Island.
That's a lot of bunkers, dude.
These bunkers vary in shape and size.
So we
from
don't have to watch
small
this whole thing.
mushroom-shaped
I didn't know how long
bunkers,
it was.
easily
but-
recognized.
It's really it's a good little video that informs you about all the stuff on there. You can find it. Shout out Inside Your Bones. She says the Jared Kushner's development group purchased the land for Sazin Island in mid-2025. It was following a preliminary approval from the Albanian government in December 2024. So this has been in the making for a little bit.
Yeah, and she said for $1 billion resort.
And obviously it's fortified with bunkers. 170,000 bunkers is enough for all the billionaires to go to. So we're looking at a trend here. I just did an episode called The Rat Lions of 2026, talking about this and Peter Thiel moving to Argentina. And it's this idea of all these, you've got Zuckerberg building, his bunker on Hawaii. So there's a lot of this going on with billionaires buying land, putting mansions on them with a mansion underneath.
Yeah, that's insane. I immediately was like very tempted to go with the Dr. Evil sound bites,
Yeah.
Sharks with the freaking laser beams.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, Dr. Evil shit is where we're at. I mean, literally, they have, what the Zeus laser is, right?
Huh?
Oh, man. So there's something called the Iron Beam, but that technology comes from this, Zeus laser that they've been doing. And it's a weapon. And it's a direct energy weapon that pretty much, it's a laser, dude. And so Israel has one because of us. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much just give shit to them. Military equipment. And this new, we're going to talk about it later, merger with Israel is going to make it to where all of our equipment is co-opted together. All of our biotechnology, surveillance technology, everything's going to be shared with Israel if this NDAA passes that just got pushed through. So that's definitely something to lobby your Congress about and your Senate, because that is something that when it passes, the whole our military would never grab us up. They're patriots. Well, guess what? If it's Israel, we already know that they have no problem grabbing people up at all. So.
Let's see. Let me get back to over here because you sent me a couple on that. You want me to open up all these links that you had sent? Let's see.
Yeah.
There's this one. The General, breaking Jared Kushner's $1.4 million purchase of the abandoned island of Sazan includes 3,500 bunkers, a network of underground tunnels. What is this?
This is the reaction to Kushner doing this. Look at this. Oh wait, pause it. Copyright.
Dang it.
Every time. So there's been 11 days straight of this. What you see right here. 11 days, dude. Last night they did it again. So Albania's not having it, dude. There's another video I might have sent you with them smashing windows at these like shed houses that look like construction workers, places where they might be cabining at, because they're protesting against the building of this resort. So they're not messing around, dude. Albania ain't playing.
So this is not like a support parade. This is like get the hell out.
Yes, they're uprising. And we're going to be getting into a lot of uprisings going on across the world today as we get in, throughout the episode. It's actually crazy. There's massive things like this going on everywhere right now. It's a global regime change.
Yeah, great victory for the Albanians. The Albanian government announces the halt of the Kushner and Ivanka project works and the suspension of the project. The crowd refuses to go home until the project is fully canceled.
See, they're not going for the placation. You know what I mean? They're like, no. We want to know for sure it's done. And that's great. They burned down the Albanian governor, mayor, or prime minister's house.
Holy shit!
Like they were not playing around, dude. So, pretty insane. I don't even think he supported the. I don't even know if he supported it. That's the crazy part. So, if his house got burned down and he didn't support it, it was probably the Mossad.
It's like, dude, what the hell? Sorry, wrong house.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, wrong house. So now I guess that next one you got is U.S. Military fusing with Israel. Now that's...
Yeah, that kind of piggybacks off of this a little bit with what we were just kind of talking about, because I mentioned it a little bit. This is a big deal. Section 224 of the NDAA. It's a big deal. I don't know if you know anything about like NDAAs. They're national... Oh, fuck. I'm not going to remember it right now. Authorization Act. National Defense Authorization Act. And they come out, like every president has one.
Mm-hmm.
And like Obama had one, and it was indefinite detention. No law, like no court, no nothing. You get sent straight to jail.
Right
play
to
that
jail,
shit.
right away.
Yep,
No trial,
right
no nothing.
No nothing. And so that's the NDA. That's real, by the way. If you were thought to be an associate of any kind of terrorist, whenever Obama made the NDAA, it specified Al-Qaeda and ISIS. But as time has went on, you have to understand all this stuff comes together. Trump has changed the definition of what like a terrorist is. And so now you had something else recently come out, which was the anti-tech extremist memorandum, which is like, yo, if you're against tech, we're going to make you a terrorist. And then if that's the case, Obama's NDAA could mean you could get grabbed up with no indefinite detention. Now, if you mix in this idea of the anti-Semitic laws being put into 37 states currently, so the IHRA definition of anti-Semitic, if you criticize Israel, you could be considered a terrorist, and then you could be grabbed up under the NDAA Obama signed, and this new NDAA would guarantee, with the Israeli merging with our military, that even if our military didn't agree with grabbing us up, they would. You see what I'm saying? So this is like a perfect soup that's been cooked up slowly. And so people got to wake up, man, because I'm kind of looking back at all these and I'm like, yo, they could use all this together. And it's not good.
Yeah, because, it's kind of already by association anyway. It's like when Israel goes to war, we go to war. So,
Yes.
It's kind of like just a... official signing of the document or whatever, going to the courthouse and legally getting married. They've been shacked up.
It's Facebook official.
Facebook official.
Remember that? Remember those days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. And by the way, real quick. So the Pentagon came out 2 days later and put Israel at a critical level for espionage. So, like, let's look at the implications of that. 2 days after we decide we want to merge the military with Israel, the Pentagon with Israel, the Pentagon comes out and says Israel is at a critical level for espionage. So, like, in other words, we can't trust them. They're a problem. And so that is a clear indication of, like, a coup within the government. Because you have the Pentagon saying they're a problem, and you have the administration going, they're our best ally. So that's kind of a coup in a weird way. If we were to merge the military with them, it would be, I think, considered a coup. Because after that, it's just no holds barred.
Yeah, and I did a show not that long ago with Derek Gilbert. You know, Derek, very intelligent guy. He gets a lot of shit from the younger generation because he's an older guy, and he's a supporter of Israel. But just because somebody agrees with something or aligns with something we don't agree with, don't mean that person's a complete idiot and got it wrong on everything. I see that so bad in this community. It's like you can have somebody bright, intelligent, know a lot of stuff, be right on a lot of stuff, but they're wrong on one thing or perceived as wrong in one thing, and then they throw that person away. Oh, he's untrustworthy. He supports Israel. It's like, come on, guys, we can't be like that. That's so narrow-minded and ignorant, in my opinion. But he done a show talking about that USS Liberty that Israel shot at and killed a lot of Americans and stuff back in one of those older wars. I can't remember. But he talked about a book that some guy wrote that was like a general in the know during this time. And there was, like you'd mentioned, there was like espionage going on. And America, and according to this guy in his book, was spying against Israel for some of these other nations. I can't remember what nation it was, but it was a nation that had a lot of oil. So it was kind of like over the oil. We were spying on the Israeli government and reporting back to this other country, kind of helping them under the table in this war for oil or cheaper prices on oil. And the Israeli government found out about it, and that's why they shot the USS Liberty. And then the government, had to come up with a quick thing. Oh, it was a mistaken identity. It's okay. All's forgiven, because they couldn't come out and say, yeah, we were caught with our pants down. We were spying on them. So they, kind of had every right to shoot us, so they had to do like this big cover up thing, over that. So yeah, there's always been intelligence issues, spy games, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, not just with Israel and our country. Hell, it's with all of them, man. None of them can be trusted.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Morpheus said it was Israel, or I'm sorry, Egypt rather.
Egypt,
which makes sense. Think about that, by the way. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, Egypt is a place that they want to go to war with today, even, which we're going to hear Jonathan Pollard say in this video. And by the way, this is why I put this in here. Israel. Well, actually, let's play this first. We'll get there.
Okay.
Let's play this Jonathan Pollard. He's this guy stole. Speaking of espionage,
and I'm not of NATO. I'm not so
sorry. I keep backing it up, trying to pause it.
No, you're good. Speaking of espionage, this guy was the guy who was stealing our nuclear secrets. He was a spy while he was in America, and I believe Trump is the one who let him out after he was in prison. I might be mistaken on that. I'm kind of shady on what exactly happened with this guy, but I know he was a spy. I know he was here stealing secrets, and he was allowed to go back to Israel, and that's a problem. But we can play that
for real.
Sure that we will have as easy a time with the Turks as we've had with the Iranians. I've been following Turkish military doctrine, and
the strongest army in the Middle East.
The storm is coming.
Yes, of course.
I'm
a member
not,
of NATO.
And even worse, they're a member of NATO. So I look at Iran as a problem we absolutely have to finish, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Gaza, same thing, and the Hezbollah. Why am I fixated on this now? Because we have to be prepared for the next war, which will be probably against Turkey and Egypt. I'm not so sure.
So Turkey and Egypt is next in line.
Yes, and there's like three things in there that are important. he said the storm is coming, and that's very important because what is the Q motto? This, storm's coming. So you have that, which everybody kind of is starting to realize that, Q is like an Israeli thing, but I mean, really it was seeded by Epstein and Steve Bannon with a little bit of this. That means that there is, dude, I've been getting attacked for this, but I believe that this traditionalist movement, which is the anti-Zionist movement, creating a radical anti-Semitic group, which, by the way, they're using truths to do it. There really is a problem with Israel and things like that. But what's crazy is this traditionalist group is actually, I think, working with the Zionists in a backdoor way because they both want Turkey to leave NATO. They both work through Trump. Like you have Steve Bannon, who's a traditionalist, working with Trump. He doesn't anymore, but he did for a while. And then now Trump's obviously working with the Zionists very heavily. And they both share agendas. Like they both have objectives that they want to accomplish. And even though one is anti-Zionist and one is Zionist, I don't think that really matters. I think these are two opposing forces that are actually part of the same regime because none of them are actually real Jews that actually worship like God, the Torah, etc., right? So these are different people that are posing as whatever to bring about a certain agenda. So, yeah, I've been getting kind of attacked for that because you're either one or the other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't be calling out that both are involved. And so, of course, I'm getting attacked by people for that. But I think that's the truth, especially when you look behind the scenes at people.
Oh, yeah, and that's what you got to do. And that's something that kind of gets me with this, and when I say this, I know I'm broad brush painting. There's a lot of people, especially even in the chat today, so shout out to the chat. Love you guys that are not this way, but there's a lot in our space that are. It's like it's this or it's that. There's no middle ground, and that's ludicrous to me. And it's either all or nothing, and most of the time it's all. I recently, when I was out west, I went on the Apollo show, and he had like a super fast turnaround. He had that thing posted up in like 48 hours. But where I was in California, I'm a good old Tennessee boy, hillbilly. I was like, I'm going to wear, and I just recently got this Alvin Kamara jersey. And Alvin Kamara, he's probably one of the best backs in Tennessee, in my opinion. He ended up going to the Saints, a little speed demon. But no pun intended. But so I was like, I'll wear that out west. I'll support my home state, Tennessee. Went out there, and his number is 6. And he had, so I got the 6 here, and then it's got the 6s on the shoulders, but it's also got one on the back. There's 4 6s, but everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's got on orange. That's a Freemason color. He's a Freemason." Oh my God, his hat's backwards.
And you got 666s.
And he's like, and his hat's backwards, so that means he's inverting the truth. And look, this jersey has 3 6s, 666. That's the devil. Oh my gosh. Oh look, he did an OK symbol when he was talking about something. He tried to slip that in there. It's like, people, y'all sound so stupid. If I'm just being bluntly honest, it's like a teenager. You give a 16-year-old kid a Ferrari. Yeah, that Ferrari has the ability to go 200 miles an hour, but does that mean that thing needs to go 200 miles an hour everywhere it goes? No, you end up crashing and probably dying. So it's like, all this information we got, yes, it's true, and yes, it's out there, but it's not everything, folks. When is a shirt a shirt? When is a number a number? When is a color just someone's favorite color? It's like, my gosh, we need to learn to control the volume on the radio. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of the purpose of the conspiracy movement, is to radicalize people into like paranoia, schizophrenia level of questioning. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like was the purpose of what I was trying to do with my show, is like, look, the all or nothing attitude is exactly why people have been driven into ignorance at the level that they have, as we see with the masses. And so don't let you, as a person who's questioning everything, get driven into the same kind of thing in your own version of that thing, right? So that would be everything is a conspiracy, period, done, right? Which
everything's
a lot of
fake
things
and
are.
gay.
Yeah, a lot of things are, but like not everything, right? There's got to be there's always a balance.
Yeah.
There's always some real with the fake, right? And some straight with the gay, because otherwise you wouldn't know the difference, would you? So...
Yeah, like 50 Cent said in that song, sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. So you got to take it all in, folks.
Yep.
Okay, so this other thing you'd sent me, it looks like it's a picture of Netanyahu.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, let me set the background here. So we just got done talking about this merging Israel with our military. And then we just showed Jonathan Pollard who's saying we have to be ready for the next war. He's talking about Iran, Iran, Gaza, What are the other two? I keep forgetting. Egypt and Turkey. And so let's read this now.
So this is just a picture, and it says...
Yeah, just pull up on it.
Okay, Israel says it is well prepared to wage full-scale war with Egypt and Turkey.
Mm-hmm. And there was another one that got posted. He said he's able to go to war with Iran, Gaza, Egypt, and Turkey at the same time. And the only reason why he would be ready to do that is if he had our military. That's kind of what I was getting at with that.
Got Big Brother.
Dude. Yes, you're not doing that on your own. Come on.
No, and I've said that before. It's kind of like it seems as though like Israel is the loudmouth little kid on the playground, but he's best friends with the biggest, baddest kid in school. So therefore, the little one is more brave to start fights and run its mouth because it knows the big guy's got its back. You know,
that's a fact. Yep, he's got that little man syndrome, as they call it. That's for sure, dude.
And here's a New York Times post. The Pentagon has raised its counterintelligence threat level for Israel amid concerns about eavesdropping on U.S.-Iran talks. So it's like if they're got concerns and thinks that they're, spying and all this stuff, but at the same time we're talking about merging together in our military?
Sounds like a coup to me. It's a coup d'etat, man. It's a coup d'etat through the administration that's currently in our government, and it's being done. And this is the Bolsheviks. And by the way, just to add to what I said earlier, the leader of the traditionalist movement right now is Alexander Dugin. Candace Owens just went to Russia, and she did a talk with him. This guy's an occultist. He worships Crowley, or at least studies him, and he's an anti-Zionist. But the whole thing is, that he's obviously got the same objectives as them. And so that's where it gets a little bit weird. So, yeah, I don't know.
And this was an article. Is there something in here that you want to point out? Or let's see.
Can you zoom in just a little bit? Okay.
Let me see. Plus.
That's the merging with the military. Congress quietly tries to pass this through, and it hasn't passed yet. But yeah, I mean, it's going to take some people upright, like saying something, to stop it.
No, I don't want your newsletter. Okay, so the next one you got is Sean Strickland, banned from UFC White House event.
Yeah, he said he wasn't, I think it's...
So, yeah, Sean Strickland says he's banned from attending the UFC White House event because he made fun of Israel and Epstein. Quote, UFC at the White House with Netanyahu in the audience, straight slop. The only male American champ banned at the White House because I said Trump is owned by Netanyahu. That's not public opinion. That's fact.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier. I mentioned how this is a Bolshevik revolution, like 2.0. Alexander Dugin started a group called the National Bolsheviks. And so if this Bolshevik revolution is going on because of the Zionists, but he started a group called the National Bolsheviks, and it was called the National Bolsheviks to give a salute to the Nazis. And so how is he any different, even though he's posing as separate from the Zionists? So just saying, man, people are really falling for this other thing that's against Zionism, but that other thing is just as involved.
And I've seen something that Sam Tripoli had said. Somebody had quoted him and put like a picture up of his face, like a silhouette and a quote. And it said that reading the book of Revelation as a kid, it frightened the hell out of me. He said, but little did I realize that it would be government entities and people in power manufacturing these events.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn. Now, that's something to think about for real.
I think now that's where I say everything's a conspiracy. Like when there's major events going on, I say those are conspiracy. Like 9 out of 10 of those are real conspiracies. Not somebody's shirt that they're wearing every time, right? Yeah, like when there's some crazy events going on. Usually that's especially geopolitical ones. It's being controlled.
Morpheus said, "Christian podcast, please leave." I'm lost. What's that supposed to mean?
He said that somebody said Christianity is a scam. Vandenberg. Well, listen, I get it. And hey, let's not tell him to leave. We'll bridge the gap here. You're exactly right, Vandenberg. There is aspects to Christianity today that is a scam. But if you pick up your Bible and read it, you might find that there's a lot of things that speak to you. Because your relationship with God is not about a church, and it's not about going through a man to get to God. It's about your relationship with him. So just saying, maybe Christianity is not a scam if you just read just the Bible itself. I'm just giving a little
and
word
you
of
can't
advice.
blame, a belief system being bad because of the misuse and abuse of it by humanity. It's humanity that always screws things up. Organized religion and humanity, you can't put those on God,
Yeah. Right. Man messes it up. The 501c3 churches, they're incentivized by the state to have certain, things go on. That's a big part of it. All right, so what do we got? Yeah, Strong Strickland. Let's look at that.
Yeah, so I guess he posted a video talking about it. You want to watch it? It's almost 2 minutes long.
It's not necessarily necessary. I think he's just pretty much saying like he's not Jewish enough to go or something like that, because that's kind of the whole thing. It turns into. But
hell, let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Let's get gossipy. Let's hear what he says.
Let's do it.
I would like to just apologize to Israel.
Oh, right there. That's good. That was a good.
I'm not surprised, but I got the call. I got the call. The UFC higher ups called me, big names, and they said, "Sean, I gotta apologize, but you're not Israeli enough to go to UFC 250 Israel edition." The White House didn't clear you, and I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. So, I think moving forward, I would like to just apologize to Israel. I'd like to say I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize to Trump, and I just want to prove that I'm Israeli enough for you guys. Like, for instance, whenever the list disappeared, and Trump goes out there and says to everybody that he can't really go into it because people that by association will get prosecuted and their names will be tarnished. I want to apologize because I don't want them to be prosecuted. Or when Trump goes and bombs the fuck out of Iran that no Americans agree with, that costs Americans $5,000 to $15,000 to go fight Israel's war. I want to apologize. Sorry, I've been a critic of that. My allegiance was apparently in the wrong place, and I just want to apologize. Or when Trump goes out there and says, "Hey, Trump, your approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been across all demographics," and Trump says, "Well, you know what? I have a 99% approval rate in Israel. I want to apologize, and I want to repent, Apparently, I'm not American enough to go to Freedom 250. But I still got my ticket, so maybe we'll just go. I'll bring the belt, and we'll just stand outside the gate, and we'll just let them know what we really think about Trump and Israel,
Mm-hmm. Man, dude, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't blame him. And by the way, I believe they're having 5,000 people there, and it's only going to be mostly White House officials, some military personnel, and some UFC personnel. So it's not even going to be nobody's getting tickets and watching it,
Mm-hmm. And
so
there's
it's a
somebody in the
closed door
chat I
thing.
wanted to bring this up to. Let me pull up the comment. It's Sir Percival, and I love the name, by the way. I've been really studying into that stuff for my book. But he
Pierce
said
the Veil?
Yeah. Oh, Pierce the Veil. I thought it said Sir Percival, like he wrote
Sir
it.
Pierce
weird.
the Veil.
But it said,
I
God
wanna
said
hear
he
your
would
take
bless
on this.
those who bless Israel and curse those who curse. Take heed. Now, here's where I'm in the middle again. Like I said, there's some people that's extreme one way or extreme the other way. I'm the person that I think that things are never that cut and dry. there are people that take that viewpoint. It's usually the older crowd, because, I mean, we are, if we're being honest, and I ain't going to use degrading language. Oh, it's the boomers. You know, I know a lot of people say that. But we are all results of our upbringing and what we surround ourselves with and the time which we are taught, basically. So it's like during that time, we didn't have all this crazy stuff going on. It wasn't such a push for, end times type stuff. And they were taught that. So now they believe that, but now things are changing. And I think, and then and they're like, oh, you got to bless them no matter what, because the Bible says that. Then you got some on the other side that say, no, the replacement theology that, the Christians are now Israel. The Jewish people rejected the Messiah. They murdered him. And now, therefore, they're talking about us, the believers. Now, I'm in the middle. Okay, I think that God's people were chosen, and he's not done with them. The Scripture says he's not done with them, right? And Paul warns us Christians, don't rejoice and smear it in the face of the branch that was cut off, because you were lucky enough to be grafted in, and they're going to be grafted back in. God's not done with them yet. But it also does. It calls us Israel. We are now grafted in. So when it talks of Israel, God is omnipresent. He sees all time at once when he speaks or gives prophecy. So he says, I will bless those who bless Israel, curse those who curse Israel. I think he was talking about his chosen, ethnic people, but also us in the future, because he knew. He's God. He knew. So he's talking about all of us, being good to your fellow man and things like that. But Jesus also called out evil. He also ruled with a rod of iron and disciplined his people when they backslid and did things wrong. So we can't be extreme like some of the older folks and say, no matter what they do, we support them, even when it's perceived wicked and evil. No. And then, on the other hand, you can't be like, screw Israel. They rejected the Messiah. We're done with them. No. Though both of those are, in my opinion, two extremes. We need to be in the middle. We need to divide rightly and judge by the fruits. If, we support each other and be good to them and help them when they need it. But if they're over there just picking fights and trying to bully around and do nefarious things, we're supposed to judge righteously and be like, hey, I know you're God's chosen people, but what you're doing here is wrong. So I think there has to be a middle ground.
There's an argument that the people that made Israel in 1948 are not Israel, and as far as like the Jews that we're talking about, the branch that was cut off, these could be the Pharisees posing as them that created that country, so they could then take that lineage and take it for themselves and create destruction like they're doing. So there's an argument there to be made. But also, to your point there, I look at the Bible kind of as an evolutionary tale. And as you look at it, kind of it does start off with the bloodline, and then it turns into the nation, get to the nation, the Holy Land. And then as Jesus comes, it turns into all people are circumcised in the heart. He puts it in you, if you follow him. And so it's an evolutionary tale, right? You have the same thing with sacrifice. In the beginning, you have, obviously Abraham is asked to sacrifice his son, and then, of course, he doesn't, right? Because God tells him, no, don't. That was right coming off the cusp of human sacrifice, almost indicating that that's over now. Then it turned into animal sacrifice. And then the temple was destroyed, and Jesus came, and he was the last final sacrifice to fulfill all. There's no more sacrifice needed to get to heaven anymore. It now is turned into, since everybody has the circumcision of the heart, you now can be saved through the blood of Christ, through his last sacrifice. I look at that story that way, and it helps me understand this in a different way, as far as like it's an evolutionary tale, and it changes like as far as what it is as it goes. There's just themes there that I noticed. But anyway, that's just kind of how I look at it.
I believe that too, yeah.
I'm not,
you keep getting
dogmatic
these new covenants.
Yes. And that's the whole story, is it changes, as the nations change in the world. So it's just kind of my thoughts on it. But yeah, it's a contentious subject, man. And people, and again, it would make sense that the Pharisees or people that want to hijack that lineage would, after World War II, go create a land and call themselves that, off the back of a Holocaust where they killed their own people, allegedly, right? So
Yeah, and that's the thing
These
is,
are thoughts.
that's why I say we can't be so cut and dry either. I mean, I know the Rothschilds done what they did, you know, and the whole Bolshevik Revolution and all that stuff that happened to get there. But at the same time, we can't just be, okay, they're all that. No, I mean, there's God's people are mixed up in that, you know, man's nation. But the promise to Israel and wanting him to look after Israel, I think, is talking about the kingdom which Jesus said is not of this world, to which there's ethnic Jews and there's Gentiles grafted into the family. That's the kingdom, not of this world. So it's a mix and match of people all over the world. So you can't just be hyper-fixated on this little piece of land in the Middle East.
Absolutely. And there's literally parts like, I'm not like a Bible, like I'm not a theologian, but I remember verses when I read them. It sticks in my head. And there's plenty of parts where God shows the difference between how a Gentile could be saved without being circumcised based off his good actions, because he could be ignorant and still be saved. Whereas somebody like that's in the tribe of Israel, he holds them to a higher standard. You don't get to do this or that and be saved. Like it's literally said in there. Whereas the Gentiles kind of get off a little bit. And then that changes over time whenever he circumcises everybody in their heart, etc. But that was kind of a thing where it talked about how, you know, a Gentile could be circumcised in their heart and not be circumcised, right? So it mentions that. And circumcision is just symbolic of kind of baptism for the Jews, you know, in the Old Testament, essentially, being brought to God through a spiritual transition. But anyway, so these are just things that I think of where I'm like, it's all, people are looking in the Old Testament trying to find answers for like an ethnic group. And that's just so weird to me, dude. We're 6,000 years from that. And the story of Jesus like supersedes it all. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That was a tangent worth going down.
I think so.
Okay.
After
so
that,
next,
we had
aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Hell yeah. Speaking of angels, I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's see. So now we have
so you brought this into this. This is your deal right here. What do we got?
Yeah, I stumbled across that. This is my I had 2 contributions this week.
So
In fact,
they're good ones.
The very scientists who reporting by witnesses of entities of non-human sentient beings connected to the craft. Don't take it from me. Some of these reports come directly out of the United States Air Force's own files. In fact, the very scientists who coined the phrase close encounters of the third kind investigated cases for the United States Air Force from 1947 to 1969. Dr. J. Allen Hynek. According to Hynek, it was cases like those that the United States Air Force desperately tried to keep secret, because it's one thing to try and confuse the public with weather balloons and swamp gas, and another entirely different when dealing with credible reports of non-human beings on the ground.
Where's the evidence?
I personally investigated one such case for over 16 years. The case occurred in Varginha, Brazil in 1996 and involves dozens of first-hand reports of UAP and direct contact with living, intelligent, non-human beings who, according to multiple Brazilian witnesses, were flown out of Brazil to the United States in January of 1996. Recently, the former Brazilian Ministry of Defense, Aldo Rebelo, confirmed the incident occurred and stated, if the U.S. disclosed information on this case, then we in Brazil could do the same. Mr. President, I am respectfully requesting that you declassify and release all files related to this case and others like it. We the people have a right to know. Reality should not be classified. Thank you.
Reality should not be classified.
Reality. Yeah, okay. Okay. You know, I'm just not confident in this. You know, whatever.
But my thing is, too, is with the whole Sam Tripoli thing, the manufacturing of things, I'm just like, to what end? Why now? And which I don't have the answers. I just have questions. But it's like, people have been talking about this for years, and they've been deny, and now all of a sudden they're coming out with it. You know, it's like, and why bring in Spielberg, just like the moon landing. They got a director to film some stuff to influence the people. It seems like that's what's going on again. And what if they truly are not, little gray men aliens like they're painting it to be, but just trying to stir fear to get us to sign some laws or documents and to fearmonger us into joining, like a one world nation, one world government to combat this evil thing. And then here comes this, Nordic that looks like a human and beats the fake threat. You know what I mean? There's just so many possibilities and so many things that swim around in my head to like, why? What's the end goal? Why now? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really can't articulate it that well because I am really that confused, bro.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I am I've just got a vague idea just based off of reading people like Alice Bailey and stuff who talked about this externalization of the hierarchy and how this new age is going to usher in a synchronization with this planetary hierarchy is what they call it. And I liken that to the demiurge. I liken that to these little g gods. And I think that's what these aliens are. And if they want us to, and by the way, this is going to make sense in a minute, if they want us to merge with these things, well, Christianity would have to go by the wayside, that's for sure. And that's why Spielberg said that this movie is going to make Christians rethink their faith. And that's why they're hammering so hard on like the spiritual aspect of this and how it's more about like them being almost gods, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of the way they're almost presenting it, or that they're so, they may have been the ones that seeded us and created us a long time ago. You got people coming out saying these aren't aliens from the future. These are people and entities from the past. If that's true, then you're really just proving the Nephilim story, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And you're proving the Anunnaki story that's tied to that. And so this would be a resurgence of that, the New Atlantis, which is what I've been covering ad nauseum regarding this. And by the way, the Robertson panel that came out in 1953, which coincided with MK Ultra, and I think a lot of the abduction stuff was MK Ultra related. But the Robertson panel said the threat of UFOs and aliens is not the problem. It's people's perceptions and people finding out about it that is the biggest problem, that would cause the most chaos. I think what they were trying to say without saying it there was people are not ready because their religion won't let them. And why does their religion matter if there's like really aliens out there? That doesn't really have to do with, I mean, yeah, I get it. You have to think about the God thing, but no, I think this is more of a spiritual thing. And they have to get you to they have to work you for a while before they can get you to go for that. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I think they care so much about this religious and spiritual aspect, because it is a spiritual thing more than it is a little green men from other planets.
Right. And that's something I talked about in that little live that I did talking about that movie. It's like, I know a lot of people, give Alberino a lot of shit here recently, but it's like, I think a lot of his theology, man, makes a lot of sense to me. It makes more sense than a lot of the stuff that I've been taught or told or tried to have explained to me. And I do realize, some of his language has changed, some of his positions have changed, and here recently he's been going on a lot of big name shows and us conspiracy theorists. But like I said, a lot of us tend to go really extreme, 200 miles an hour in that Ferrari just because it can go that fast. When is a shirt a shirt? When is a number just a number? When is a coincidence just a coincidence?
Are you talking about Alberino?
Yeah. So it's like, I've been in this business, for a couple years now. And the Lord's blessed me with a good fan base that support me and enable me to do this, and I'm so grateful for that. But that still doesn't take away all the hard work, dude. The hours of research and editing and traveling and networking, going to conferences. This guy's been doing what I'm doing, but on a much larger scale for like the past, 15, 20 years. And he's just now, really starting to break out. So it's like people are like, oh, he's everywhere. It's like, no, the guy, he wouldn't just suddenly, guys. He's been grinding this whole time. But do I think he is beyond reproach and he's uncorruptible? Of course not. The potential is there. We have to be honest about that. But it's like, what is he saying? That there's a physicality to this. What is he saying? He's saying that in Genesis 6, they had physicality. They ate, they drank, they slept. They were so close to us that they could procreate with us. They made a hybrid race. They gave technology. That's exactly what we're seeing now. You know what I'm saying? And even in that thing, my buddy Jesse.
But wait. Are we to believe that we are a hybrid race that they created, though? That's where I break off on that one.
No. And he doesn't say that either. He just says that, that these angels, the rebellious ones that come down and bred with women, they made a hybrid race, the Nephilim.
Yes.
And so he's saying that he thinks that this is just that same thing happening again. But he said in that thing that a lot of people are twisted and bringing a lot of this New Age stuff. That sounds very similar because they're telling the same story. They're telling truths, but there's a lot of deception sewn in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was saying, and the Nordics, where they look like us, he said, they're going to be our saviors. And my buddy Jesse heard that, and he was like, he just said the Nordics are going to be our saviors. I'm like, dude, I said, he was being facetious. He was saying that.
Was he?
Yeah, because I got on recording. I got the whole thing recorded.
So
and
he
said,
serious.
No, but how he framed it too, he said, people are deceived. He said, all this New Age stuff, he said, they got the insectoids. They're going to be the bad guys. He said, and then here comes the Nordics that look like us. He said, and they're going to be our saviors. And he said, and they are deceived.
Yes.
He said, in my opinion, that's the great deception.
Yeah. Well, I think he's absolutely right. I mean, think about it, dude. Like, what was the Admiral Byrd story? Was like he had Nordic UFOs with Nordics in them that like tractor beamed his plane and brought it and landed it. There's mammoths, the whole Hollow Earth story. That came out right after the Nazi, like after World War II. And I was like, dude, I think this is propaganda to seed the, minds for this. And then when you look into Alice Bailey's work, she talks about Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara looks exactly like a Nordic, and he controls behind the veil. So they think that this, speaking of pierce the veil, they think that the veil represents, obviously, this etheric realm. Well, the etheric is like plasma, which is why I think this plasma orbs, transparent beings with plasma technology, maybe a Nordic, whatever. I think all that is likely, instead of a UFO, to come soon. Because think about it, the drones and the orbs popped up at the same time in New Jersey, almost to seed our mind for that. And I think that they can control this stuff, so they can make it show up and manipulate us with it. So, yeah, man, I think that they just know how to access the technology in order to mess with this veil realm, the etheric realm. And it doesn't mean that there's anything really special going on besides these people are just doing magic, through science.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, too, and I've seen somebody in the chat, and I'll bring this up, too, before we move on. I don't want to, camp out on this. But he said, why did Alberino go to those briefings by the government about the aliens with the 1,000 pastors or whatever? Well, you got to remember, too, Alberino, he could be getting fed some false information from these government people, right? But that doesn't make him the bad guy. If he is being fed false information, it could very well be unbeknownst to him, right? I mean, nobody's above deception. But I think the reason why, of course, it's the government. They always have some kind of agenda. I'm with you guys 100%. But, of course, they would invite him. Because if you think about it, he's the picture-perfect candidate. He's been studying this stuff for years. He's kind of in the fringe space, in the alien space, and he's in the Christian space. So he's kind of like that bridge connecting the two and bringing them in. So I just think that, once again, when is a shirt, when is a number, when is a coincidence. Could it be that this man, like us, loves these subjects, he's been passionate about for all these years, been working his butt off, and someone noticed that and was like, hey, come to the table. You've earned your spot at the table. Right?
Yeah, and how many times
you have to go. If we got that call, being honest, if we got that call, brother, we would go. I can't speak for you.
I'd be in karate stance though the whole time.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We can't blame people for showing up to the big dance, because if we're being honest, dude, there's a lot of people who lie and be self-righteous, but if we're in this space, we're working toward this goal and it's our passion, and we get invited to the nice fancy seat at the table at the center stage, we're going to show up. It's just you got to be prayed up. You got to have your discernment and be able to know how to eat chicken. Pick the meat off, throw the bone, and keep going. You can't just take it off.
I don't know if I'd go to a government meeting, but other than that, yeah, I'd be down. You went to government. Yeah, I'm all right. That ain't making it to me. That's fucking that's something else. I don't know what that is. That's something else. But no, that's cool. I mean, I think that how many times does the government mess up where they're like, look, we can mess with this guy. He's going to just go with it. And in reality, maybe he has the discernment in order to be like, look, this is what they're pushing. This is what I think the propaganda is within it. And maybe he ends up being a useful person that was there rather than all propaganda spewers, right? So maybe the government messed up and picked somebody that they thought they could manipulate better. I don't know the guy. I don't watch his stuff very much, but let's just watch his rhetoric afterwards and see if it changes its tune against
exactly
what you were saying.
That's how I see. Instead of jumping to conclusions, getting all excited and assuming things and thinking we know people, just take a breath, sit back, and see how things play out. Let people surprise you, because a lot of times people will. I've been disappointed and not surprised many times, but more often than not, if I sit back and watch and let things unfold, people show their cards. But when you overreact and start poking, you can kind of make people take turns and do things they wouldn't do because they think they're being watched. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of times we just have to be quiet, sit back, and let things play out, and people will show their hand.
Yeah, dude. I always play dumb a little bit. You gotta do that a little bit.
I do. I play dumb a lot.
You could read the room a little better that way. People are more themselves whenever they don't feel like they need to be on guard because they don't think you're gonna notice.
Yeah.
So this next one's kind of I forgot we didn't watch this. Go ahead.
Let's see.
This morning we're going to have a classified briefing on the objects that were shot down over the last weekend. First of all, I don't know why it's classified. I do not believe that any of the information that they've shared or are going to share with us is going to be the kind of thing that has to be kept secret. There's very specific reasons why things are classified, and this doesn't meet the standard. Maybe I'm wrong. We're going to find out. Second, this is pretty extraordinary. Okay, this is not just a curiosity or into weird stuff about UFOs and aliens. For the first time in 65 years, the United States has shot something down over our airspace. Not once, but 4 times. And 3 of those 4 things, we have no idea what they are, and people deserve to know what they are. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary.
How convenient.
You're launching at least $800,000 missiles off of fighter jets over American airspace. That's a pretty big deal. We need to understand why we did it.
Alberino, that's a big deal.
Things are, where they come from, who owns them, who made them, why are they here? And perhaps the explanation is easy, and maybe not. The point is that these are important things that the American people deserve to know and that they deserve to hear directly from the president about. Not a political thing here. Okay, people deserve to know, why are we shooting things down? If it's serious enough to shoot down, it's serious enough for you to know something about it. Look, this is a topic I've been on for a long time because this is not new. It may sound new, but it really isn't. We have been seeing objects flying over restricted airspace in the United States for a long time now. No one took it seriously because immediately it was about UFOs.
Do you know, are you aware?
Aliens. And that's not my concern. My concern is that...
But do you look at him and automatically hear that voice?
Right away. No trial, no nothing.
Every time. I can't stand Rubio. I can't stand it at all. Are you aware that, like, who created the Anunnaki, like the whole Anunnaki... Like, you know who Zachariah Sitchin is, right?
Yeah, which the Anunnaki was already a thing. The tablets were written, but he, made up all kinds of crap. Yeah. And made up a story about the mining of gold and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And it very much matched with kind of the Kabbalah, or not even Kabbalah, but like the Jewish version of that has Lilith in the story, and like just different kind of the Enochian style of teaching of the Bible and all that. They teach more about the Nephilim and everything than the Christian Bible does. But what's interesting about that to me is that there's like this thing where I keep just seeing like Israelis and Zionists that are really heavy on this, okay? Oh, Anna Paulina Luna is another one. Her grandpa was a Nazi. She changed her last name to Luna, and then she happens to be the lady talking about UFOs. She has a picture with Netanyahu. The other guy right there, Marco Rubio, very, very big Zionist. And then Zachariah Sitchin, he was like an Israeli mathematician. Stephen Greer, he has connections to Israel as well. So, dude, all these people are like Zionists that are pushing this alien UFO stuff. So I'm, again, karate stance.
So do you think that that's kind of like what Sam was referring to? These are the people trying to form the state of Israel. These are the people trying to push the alien stuff.
What do the Babylonians worship?
Yeah, and they're taking out all the countries that want to remain independent and stay away from them so they can do the whole one world order manufacturing revelation for the consent and support of the Christian population.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, what did the Babylonians worship? You know what I mean? It was this kind of hierarchy, this pagan god kind of system. So on to different news. This is some weather news. Get to the weather. Weatherman, I'll pass it to you.
Oh, yes. Expect some sunny days. Make sure you got the sunblock, sunny and 75, and watch out for the hail up north. But in all seriousness, though, man, thoughts, prayers go out to everybody in the Midwest and up around Michigan and Illinois and stuff. They're getting hammered right now with all kinds of tornadoes. I've seen some videos and stuff online. And my boy Riley from Midwest Mythos, praise the Lord, he's safe. But he sent me a video last night. He walked outside of his porch and was going to record and show the storm. I mean, it was bad. And this lightning bolt just struck, and I mean, it was wide, and you heard it hit. I mean, I couldn't feel it. I was in the phone, but I mean, I could imagine feeling the shock from that thing, and it lit up the entire sky, and trees were bent over, and he screamed. He said, "Oh, damn!" It scared the hell out of him. But I'm like, dude, is this right now? He's like, this is right now. He said, a tornado just ripped past us. He said it just hit like a street or two over. He said it just missed us. But a lot of people dealing with a lot of devastation right now from this El Nino, El Succo.
Yeah, it's just starting. Yeah, I'm right here in Tornado Alley. I guess it's shifting a little bit, but yeah, I'm here in Missouri, so we get hit. We get hit with those plenty.
That's what I seen this morning. I was watching a little news this morning, and it was saying that this is basically a reemergence of El Nino. El Nino happened, way back in the day and caused all those tornadoes and real bad storms. But I think what that weather woman had said, it was like a mixture where the humidity is so high right now, and then we have all-time highs in temperatures. Like the East Coast, I mean, up and down the entire East Coast is like breaking 100 degrees. So this high heat and temperature mixing with this high humidity is basically like the perfect breeding ground for all these super storms.
Yep. And last time, I mean, El Ninos happen often, but like not ones this strong and intense, allegedly. So this one here,
and
I guess,
means little boy.
Yeah. And when it was, which is wild. When this was this intense, it said it killed 6 million people died last time.
60 million.
60 million people died last time. Now, this was 1800s? So
1877.
Right. So we're hopefully more prepared, right? We got AC, We got, we got water, or like bottled water. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll be okay. But yeah, definitely, be prepared for a hot-ass summer.
No, I don't want to buy nothing.
I just thought that was intriguing. 60 million people. I mean, if we got that off of there, then we're probably good. Because right after that, let's check this out. The government wants to control the weather. Control the world with the weather. Yeah, you can read it.
Yep. This is breaking declassified CIA files allege U.S. plans to control the world by manipulating the weather per the Daily Mail. And that's something that I learned just maybe like within the past year. HAARP, the HAARP, and all that stuff. That all, I'm sure they were testing and researching and all this kind of stuff long before, but it made its world stage debut in Vietnam. And I found this out from like a documentary, just like on Discovery Channel. This wasn't some kind of conspiracy podcast. This was mainstream. And they were saying that they were doing this weather modification stuff and doing the cloud seeding, and that they had, got it to work, and they were, successfully, doing it. So they were struggling in Vietnam, and where it was all in the woods, that they had all these little dirt bicycle routes, and that's how the Vietnamese was transporting ammunition and supplies. because the wilderness was so thick they couldn't cut roads. But it was small enough, and they had locals that knew the forest and stuff well enough that they made bike trails, and that's how they transported everything back and forth. And they couldn't get to them, so the U.S. government was basically like, if we could destroy those supply routes, we could, do better in this war. And it's just dirt little trails. If, monsoon season's coming, if we get a good monsoon season, it'll mess up these roads, and then therefore it mess up their supply line. So here comes the scientists. And they're like, oh, well, we can do some cloud seeding and make sure that monsoon season is extra wet. And that's what they done. They cloud seeded the hell out of it down there, and it rained for several months straight. And that's why you see in that movie Forrest Gump, he's down there and he's like, oh, we had all kinds of rain, fat rain, skinny rain that come up from underneath, and they play that CCR song, Who'll Stop the Rain. That was a real thing. And they used it in
Operation
military
Popeye.
application.
Yeah, Operation Popeye, I believe they call it. Yeah, it's been going on. And then there's another one called Operation Something Mist, and that was another one that they did, the same thing. Or that might have been the cloud seeding. But either way, or, chem spraying, whatever. Yeah, man, that's been going on. A lot of people are just finding out about HAARP like since 2012, but not many people know that it's been around since the 50s and 60s. It's actually crazy. And I just was laughing while you were talking because somebody, Mr. MK Ryan said 60 million. Imagine the pile of shoes at El Nino Museum. Sorry, I thought that was a little funny. Museum. I thought that was funny. He's playing off the Holocaust 6 million with the pile of shoes instead of the Holocaust Museum. Very funny.
All the double entendres in the chat. Look at you.
Yeah. That's the whole, who controls the weather? You know what I mean? Space Jews, that whole thing. It's part of the classic conspiracy along with that. I think Dave Chappelle had a joke about that. It's the Space Jews.
So what is this?
So this is the patent itself, the CIA document that came out. Here's the receipts. So we got it here that just pretty much just lays out that, you could read some of it if you want. Just outlines what the plans are, the operations.
Oh yeah, because there's that fourth column. It says, as the U.S. weather modifications program expands, we are likely to have increasing demands for intelligence on Soviet accomplishments. So the Soviets are at it too. We're in a race with them, I guess, or was then. This was.
This is during the Cold War, in my opinion.
1965.
Yeah, this is during the Cold War. And in my opinion, part of it. And the Cold War to me was a time when we were actually working with the Russians in secret on top secret things like brainwashing, this kind of stuff, right? Because what's weird is you see the crossing and all this technology, and I think it was just a hidden, we're working with them, but we're in a Cold War,
Gotcha.
And there's some proof here. It kind of lays it out that there's a little bit more proof there because, everybody knows the Iron Curtain. That's the cliche thing. Russia, they made sure nobody could find out anything. They were so good about keeping secrets. The Iron Curtain, the Cold War was so hard because we couldn't find out what they were doing. We had to fly blind and we had to beat them because the competition was serious. It was fierce. And in reality, they were probably working with them. They only build that much propaganda rhetoric around something when it's the opposite. Why would they give Russia? Why would they give Russia all that credit for how good they are at something unless they were that's the only time they do that shit. I don't know. It's just funny.
Little under the table attaboys,
yeah. All day.
Yeah, it's kind of like the modern day gossip. You're talking to your one friend. You're like, oh yeah, Steven, I can't stand that guy. Oh yeah, me neither. And then you're going, hey Steve, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, how's it been? That's what they. Yeah, that's what the government. That's what the government does to us every day.
Oh yeah. So now we're back to Elon. He's always in the news, and I heard on the news this morning too that he's going to be. He's expected to be the world's first trillionaire, taking SpaceX to the free market. We can buy shares of SpaceX right now. I think it's for like $150-something a piece.
Nice. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
But he's back in the news for his Neuralink chips and stuff. It says that, but China seems to be getting the better of him. It says China beats Elon Musk to launch world's first commercial brain chip. We have arrived.
Yeah, because, I mean, he said he was going to do mass production of his brain chip starting this year. So we're getting there. Yeah, mass producing brain chips is a big step because that means he's past the R&D phase.
Yeah, and that's what it says here on that article you had sent me, the Business Insider. Elon Musk plans high-volume production of Neuralink brain chips and says he wants to automate the surgical procedure. So you can get you an upgrade to your hard drive, and you could have some robotic arms do the surgery and install it for you.
Yeah, all it's going to cost you is your identity.
It's just going to cost you your soul. I mean,
yeah, your whole self.
Are you using it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on. We've turned you into soulless zombies at this point. You guys don't need it.
Yeah. And this one says Elon Musk has already tapped into the brains of 21 people. Thousands more to follow in 2026 with mass production of the Neuralink chip. So 21 people has already gotten this chip. So are these like amputees and things like that? What kind of applications do you know?
It varies.
These 21 individuals?
Yeah, it varies for like paraplegics, amputees, people with MS, things like that. So yeah, it varies, but all these people are having, well, I've done, people could check out an episode I've done about Neuralinks and stuff because I did a whole deep dive about the fact that, a big part of Elon joining Doge was to get rid of the FDA people that were blocking him from doing Neuralink tests the way he wanted to, because he wanted to fast track the Neuralink test because he was having issues that was not getting him past the FDA. So he gets himself into the administration, strips out the FDA of people that were an issue. He establishes a new FDA, leaves, and now there's ICE detention facilities. They are not reporting deaths. Why? Well, that's because they're right next to Neuralink facilities, and there's ICE detention people, ICE detainees that are being possibly experimented on, and there's people coming out where like they were in solitary for 2 weeks and they come out and they have a debilitating brain disease. They're pretty much dead. They're pretty much vegetables. And so the theory is that this guy is using these people like lab rats, like monkeys that are inside of these ICE detention facilities and experimenting on them. And now he's skirted around shit to where, yeah, he can mass produce it and automate the surgery. It doesn't mean that it's safe.
I've often wondered that, like with Guantanamo, and these kind of like off-country sites for terrorists and different things like that, because, technically they're not on U.S. soil, so the U.S. laws don't apply. I wonder if there could be like, some MK Ultra, like you were talking about, these people that have these things they want to test on humans, but they can't because of the laws. So some of them go to Mexico and these other countries. But it's like if it's a government operation, you have all these terrorists down here in Guantanamo that's going to rot away here and eating up taxpayer dollars. This could be their way to contribute to society. We'll just test on them. They can't tell nobody. They ain't got no rights anyway.
Yeah, and the illegals are serving that purpose right now. And it's really funny because aliens.gov is what they came out with talking about illegals, right? And it's called aliens.gov. So they came out with a website and started trying to hint at like aliens, being these people. But they're experimenting on these people like they're aliens. They're experimenting on these people like they would if there was real extraterrestrials that came here. They're throwing them on the lab table and they're cutting into their head, throwing a Neuralink in and seeing how it works. Like not too far off from what we would do to a real alien. So in other words, they've dehumanized these people and gotten us to consent to it. So we're all, culpable now. In a way.
Now, this other one I had sent you, I just stumbled across it, in which I didn't really look into it. But I was like, when I read it, I was like, dude, that is outrageous. But apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, Muslim kids now, because of their religious faith, are now allowed to bring knives to school because it's part of their religion. And it's, I can't remember the name of the blade, but it's one of those S-curved,
a Sikh blade.
Yeah, Sikh blade.
S-I-K-H, yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. This is coming off the back of Carmelo Anthony getting sentenced to 30 years for stabbing a kid and killing him at a track meet, where one, it was legal for him to have a pocket knife at school because in Texas there it was legal. Two, the kid pushed him and I guess assaulted him first. So technically, under Texas law, it was a stand your ground that was applicable, but they still gave the kid 30 years. Why? Because they want racial tension. Remember the last episode we did? We talked about Chud the Builder going to jail for attacking that guy. Well, guess what? I bet Chud the Builder gets off, and this kid, even though he should have gotten off, is going to get 30 years. So that way they can rise this racial tension. And while we have all this going on, I was going to point out next, in Belfast, you have a Muslim guy trying to behead somebody in the streets. And it's the same kind of concept here. Why are we allowing Muslim kids to bring knives to school whenever we have other Muslims in other countries stabbing and trying to behead people in the streets with the same knife? I just think that they're trying to build up for this. This is on purpose, obviously. It's a build to flood the country with migrants. You let them get different laws than the other people that live here, and then at the same time you're treating actual Americans terrible, and you're still fucking over Black Americans. It's just while you rise up the white nationalism, it's just all angles.
So this video, I guess, is this of the event because it's got like a sensitivity block on it.
It is of the event. It zoomed out a little bit, but we could show a little quickly.
Yeah, we'll show it. Just guys, be warned. It's graphic in nature, so if you got weak stomachs.
Yes.
Dad, he's completely dead. No, he's not.
Has he got a knife?
Yeah. Get off him, you fucking rat. Yo! He's
oh my God.
He's trying to cut his head off. He's mate, hurry up.
Hurry up.
He's slicing his head off here. Hurry up the fuck.
Hurry
Come on,
back.
bastard. Come on,
Get him.
Quick. Kill him. Get him down. Let him go down. Yes. Yes. Get up.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane.
Is that a lacrosse racket?
There's a cop. There's a cop. Back off.
I thought it was a shot.
There's a cop. Back off.
Lacrosse racket. It's a net. No. Yeah, that's fucked up. Watch this. Listen,
Okay.
she says, the cop, she says, no, it's okay. She goes, the cops, they're coming. They have to stop helping this guy because they're worried about the police because they're going to get in trouble over this guy who's doing this crime. By the way, if you don't believe me, the protesters, we're going to watch this. There's protests going on because of this incident. The protesters that are burning down houses and, in uprise over this are being fast-tracked through jail, whereas this guy has a bond. So this guy gets a bond, but you're fast-tracking protesters through jail to make sure they go straight to prison? This is the kind of shit we're talking about, where you have no loyalty to your own people and you're flooding in other people and letting them have free reign in different laws. They're trying to destroy people's, so we could show some of the protest stuff. It's crazy, man.
Okay, the cops running up.
Yeah, the
and
cops
that's the
come
thing
up.
too. What's her name? I did. I think I talked about her last time, but that Bulgarian mystic, Baba Vanga, she said, I think it was 2020. It was somewhere between 2026 and 2028 that she said, and this was, she wrote these down a long time ago, but she said that the Muslim people are going to take over Europe. And I'm like, we kind of see that happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get a choice, Sharia law or Noahide law. You're fucked either way. Pardon my French. So this is the reaction. This is the reaction to that. This is going on in Belfast with the locals. It gets worse. I mean, it's been multiple days since then. I saved this the other day, but since then it's been getting worse every day. It's just protest on protest. There's people making videos with guns saying, look, we're taking our country back. Get the immigrants out of here. We're taking over. They're taking their country back. And that's what needs to happen once it gets to a certain point. I'm not advocating violence, but I'm just saying, you gotta, at some point you gotta, control what's yours.
Yeah, here's the people you're talking about showing up, I guess, the people in masks and stuff and putting together little groups.
Yep. Yeah, it will spread to the USA soon, Ben. And that's the whole point. That's why I get so passionate about it whenever I talk about it, because I could see it. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Like, not even on the wall. The writing is like whispering in your ear. I don't even know. Like, it's speaking to you at this point.
Yeah. And our buddy Ben, he's in the chat. He just commented and said, this will spread to the USA soon.
Sure will.
But yeah,
What's up, Ben?
UK horror: teen stabbing victim dies after police arrest him rather than the attacker. Henry Novak, 18, was stabbed and his lung punctured. The UK police arrived at the crime scene but decided to handcuff the victim, Henry Novak. Wow. He could not breathe due to the blood in his lungs.
So this is 2 weeks ago. So you had this just happened, right, in England. And then in Belfast, you had this one. So it's back-to-back. This is the video of it. We could watch that.
Okay, this is the video of Novak.
And he's up here. Away, mate. He's obviously he's fallen from there and he slipped from there.
There's other shoes left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate?
Up here.
Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, a little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Got this stud.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
I was in bed asleep. Whenever we just find me up there, look, someone's attacked.
Grab his other arm.
Wow. So this guy pulled the turban off of the other gentleman, so he stabbed him?
Yeah, and then he tells the cops as it goes, he says, I can't breathe. And the cops are like, yeah, he's like, I've been stabbed. And he's like, I don't see it. Doesn't look like it. And he's like, oh, I can't breathe. This keeps repeating himself. And the cops were saying, like, it doesn't look like it. You look fine. And the guy dies. And he's just going along with these other dudes. I mean, dude, the guy he ran out of his shoes. So clearly there's some shit that went down. You know what I mean? If he's not in one of his shoes aren't on, what are we talking about, dude? I mean, there's clearly, but this is just the levels to it that it goes to, And, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, man. Right is wrong. Wrong is right. I mean, we are living in the upside down.
That's a fact.
I've always been kind of, anti-cop because I guess, I was a little bit of a hellion growing up, and I got arrested a time or two. But I'll take that back. I was about to say I never met a cool or nice cop, but I've met a few, but they're very few, man. Most of them are bullies, bro. It's like they got picked on as kids in school, and then they get the authority, and they want to, take their vengeance out on their hellish childhood on everyone else. But
absolutely,
one of the times I got arrested, I called the law on myself. Okay, guys, you're going to get a BC day doc, okay, before Christ. I always liked smoking pot. That was my thing. I mean, I would drink and stuff, but pot, that was always my thing. It's like, I just, a lot less effort. I could just take a couple puffs, sit back and smile and munch out and wake up the next day and not have a hangover. But I was 20, I think. I just turned 20. I wasn't 21 yet. I went to a party, and there was no pot to be found. All there was alcohol, and I didn't really like to drink. So I was like, I'll be sociable. I'll have a beer. I drank one beer with my friends. No pot showed up. So I'm like, hell with this. I'm going home, going to bed. So I got in the car and left. But I hung out that party for like an hour. I was not intoxicated. I had one drink. Yes, I was 20. I wasn't 21. So I broke the law. But still, wasn't drunk. Drove home, and a truck just plows into my rear end, destroys it. And when I get out, I'm like, are you all right? Oh, yeah, I'm good. And then he takes off and just runs off and leaves me. Well, I'm sober. I'm not worried about that beer that I had like an hour and a half ago. I'm worried about my car. So I called the police. I'm like, hey, I'm a victim of a hit and run. A guy just hit me in a white truck and took off. And they're like, well, where are you? And I told them. Officer come out and interviewed me and everything. He's like, can you rip that bumper off and drive the car home, maybe save you a tow bill? I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that. So he done all the paperwork, everything was done. And I was back there ripping my bumper off, and this other cop shows up, and he walks up, and he's like, what happened, son? And I went to tell him, and then the other cop started explaining it to him. This dude was a jerk. He just looked at the cop, and he says, I didn't ask you what happened. I want to hear it from him. And so I told him, and he was like, "Huh, you been drinking?" And I said, "No." I said, I'm not intoxicated." And he was like, "I smell alcohol in your breath." And I said, "Well, you're mistaken." I said, "You can look right at me. I'm sober. I'm not drunk. I'm a victim here. I called you for help. Why are you harassing me now?"
Yeah, dude.
And they made me do a DUI, a sobriety test, passed it, and everything. And they're like, "Well, we're going to take you down to the police station for a breathalyzer." And I blew like a .02. And they charged my ass underage consumption.
No shit.
I was like, "You dirty bastards! I'm
them
a
a
victim,
reason.
and I called you for help, and then you're going to arrest me. This is so effed up."
I've always known better. See, I'm from St. Louis, so I know better. You know how the cops can be. But I have called the cops once. I came outside and my car was moved. Like it got like it looked like somebody had made it move by hitting it, and it hit the sign in front of my house. Like, I know I didn't park it like that, right? And so I called the cops just to be like, "Hey, obviously something happened to my car." They didn't believe me one bit. They were trying to tell me like just trying to make it out to be me somehow, some way the whole time. And it turned into this whole thing where I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Why did I even call it? Like, what is this?" It's just, you're just out against people. It's very weird. At that same house, I actually got questioned for murder. Yeah. I was living at that house, and one day I had these detectives come to my house, and they take me down to the station. Well, first this detective says that, another detective wants to talk to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And so they take me down. He's like, "When's a good time?" He has me come down. And so I talked to him, and yeah, they wanted to go through my phone. They weren't really giving me information. They were just asking me if I knew this person. I had never met him. Well, his phone data says he was at your house, before this happened and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't really fight that. So I don't even know what that is. Like, that kind of mind boggled me. So as time went on, I kind of realized, I was like, oh, when did this happen? They said like January that year. I was like, well, a few months ago, I had a roommate, and he had since moved out. So I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was like, maybe this is a friend of his. You know what I mean? So yeah, it turns out this guy came over, bought some weed from a roommate of mine, left, went to McDonald's, and then got killed. And so they and so, it was a whole thing. And so that was a wild one. I was like, whoa.
You followed him to the McDonald's and murdered him and got back the 20 bag that you sold him, didn't you?
Yeah, it makes the most sense. That makes the most sense. Why not kill him here? I'm just gonna wait till he leaves the McDonald's and I'll follow him there.
Yeah, because I'm hungry and I want a double cheeseburger.
I need that McChicken. Once I'm done, I need that McChicken real quick. And also Morpheus mentioned that he doesn't think that guy Carmelo should have gotten off, and I don't necessarily think he should have gotten off because I don't agree with the laws in Texas. There should be no reason why it's legal for a kid to have a knife at school. I get it, if you're in a rural area and you got hunters, but let's be honest, you don't need it at school. It's just leaving that kind of room for problems. But because there is a law, the guy probably, now you're giving reason why people can say there's racist aspects to this. So because there's a law, you got to abide by them, or else you're showing inequality. And if we have laws, whether we like them or not, we can repeal the laws, but until we do, we have to go by, you can't have inequality with that, or else it's not like, oh, I just don't like the idea of him getting off, because it just sounds bad. It's like, it's the law. Otherwise, you can have people say it's racist or whatever. So we got to go by that,
Yeah.
I just want to mention that.
No. Andrew, you put together another banger, man. I enjoyed going through everything and having the discussion with you, and you keeping me up to date on everything, man. I know everybody else in the chat seems to love it when we get together, so I think we got some magic going, bro. I'm ready to get on the carpet and go to a whole new world. Are you ready?
That's where we're going, baby. We're flying, baby. Yeah, I'm excited, dude. I think it's going great. And the listener count's growing. The live count's growing by the minute. So that's awesome. You guys are awesome. Shout out to chat. Make sure to spread the love. Let everybody know about where they can find their best current events. A little bit of under the surface layer current events. And this is it. Prometheus Report.
Well, before we go, give everybody a quick update on the 6G.
Yeah, 6G agenda. Always got a lot boiling. on the weekends, weekend warriors. So I love doing this show right before I get warmed up. Tonight we're going to be talking about Morgellons. We've got a testimonial, so it's Synthetic Fibers Part 2. Have a couple of guests coming on. There's some listeners, some fans, and they have some experience that they want to talk about from Morgellons. And then also, Saturday, I'll be getting into a solo episode talking about AI, voice-to-skull technology. It's kind of a wild topic. That's what we get into over there on 6G Agenda, talk about what they want. So come see us there. And then Sunday, of course, the UFC fight. So come to that watch party.
Nice. Yeah, man. Well, with me, I guess it's the usual. I will be joining you guys at 8 for that watch party. That'll be a lot of fun. I usually do my live study for Louis Ginsburg, Legends of the Jews, at 8. So I will push that back to 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll make an announcement on that on the Prometheus Lens channel. And Monday, we have a pre-recorded show and live chat with Brian Godawa, and he is talking about his new book. He writes historical fiction, and this one is about Daniel in Babylon. So we talk about some of the research he done for that book and some of the things he found, and basically telling the story of Daniel, because we tend to forget this was he was of the Magi. You know, the scripture even says that Daniel was the greatest of the Magi. So he was in there learning the esoteric stuff and the hidden knowledge and all that kind of stuff, but he remained faithful to God. So he kind of paints, the picture. It's kind of like, I love how he said it in a clip I released. It's like the Bible meets Harry Potter. Daniel goes to Hogwarts, so to speak, and learns all this kind of stuff. So it was a real fun episode. I think you guys enjoyed that. I got that going on Monday. But yeah, man, another one in the books. Looking forward to seeing where this goes, man, and just taking off and going through all these subjects. The news cycle is never failing. There's always some stuff to dive into, man. So I'm so glad that we developed a friendship and that we met and we get to go on this journey together, man.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. I'm loving it. I'll see you all next week. I'm excited to keep this journey going. I'll see you later, Doc.
See you, man. Peace, guys.